Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got something new for you today. The people at Montek sent this out, and I'll tell you what, this is one that I've been really excited about because I've seen this thing for about a year with some other people reviewing it, and was very interested in what it was capable of. But what we have here is a power station. Comes in a briefcase form. Looks like we're carrying around the nuclear codes, but what it is a power station. It is a 1,000 watt power station with a 2,000 watt surge. It carries a 1,010 watt lithium ion polymer battery, and these are automotive grade. And the thing that interested me about this is you know, I like the LiFePO systems because of the charge cycles that you get out of them. This one has over 2,000 charge cycles before you lose the top 20% of the battery capacity. So this thing will have good cycle life, almost as good as LiFePO batteries. It has a lot of interesting things because it's also water resistant. Now, I've not seen power stations where you can leave out in the rain, but this particular one you can. Now, it does have doors on each side that drop down, and they're sealed. Now, when I say it's water resistant, you don't want these doors open when it's raining because you defeat the purpose of it being water resistant. But if you did have the power station out in the rain, you could charge it that way because the charging port, which is over here, is like an aircraft type connector, and it's sealed. So you can literally run solar panels into this and charge it and be while it's raining. So that's nice. Now, doesn't mean you're going to get a lot of watts while it's raining, but you would get something. And you know what else is interesting about this? It has its own solar panel included. So you have an 80 watt solar panel inside the Montek, and you can see I've had this out in the weather and we've had water on it, but the seal here, and this thing is completely dry in here. I literally sprayed water on it here about a half hour ago, and no water got inside of here. But you get an 80 watt solar panel that basically just pops out of here, and it's a sun powered cell, and it is a 4-panel, but it's very lightweight. Now, the one downside to it is it doesn't have any kickstands, and reason being is it wouldn't fit in the case if it did have kickstands. But it is an 80 watt panel. This particular solar or power station is capable of 360 watts. Now, is this panel going to charge this thing super fast? No. But what it does give you, in the event of emergency, if this is all you had, you could charge it up. And yes, it might take a little time if that's all you had, but the nice thing about it is you can hook any other solar panel to it. You can hook rigids, you could hook portables, you could hook flexibles, you could hook any other type of solar panel you want to it. So we're going to go over the plugs, the DC, the AC, let you know what you get. So stay tuned, and we'll start going over the tech specs. Let's do a little walk around. We're going to turn the unit on. You got a power button over here on this side. Have a nice EFT screen. This is probably one of the clearest screens I've ever seen. As soon as you turn the power on, the DC is activated. And right now we're charged to 63%. I've had this thing for about 2 weeks, and I've been putting it through some testing, which you're going to see in this video. And here you got a drop down. You see this? You just pull this down and it opens. There's a seal inside that makes it water resistant. You got your AC plug right here. There is no power brick to this. You just got your AC that you plug in, and then you got two 5525s at 12 volts and 10 amps, two 5521s at 12 volts and 7 amps. Then you got a 100 watt power delivery port, two 18 watt USB ports. Those are USB-A's. And then you got your 12 volt car adapter port for running portable refrigerators. And it's 12 volts at 10 amps. So that's all your DC right there. You have a fan that's going right here, and like we mentioned earlier, there's where you charge your power station with your solar panels. Now we're going to flip it around and show you the other side. This is the same thing. You just pull that down and it drops open. You got a seal in there, and you got two AC ports, 1000 watts max. That's the inverter, 2000 watt surge. And the thing to remember, or excuse me, what's nice about these two AC ports, these aren't 110, these are 120. So these are basically what you're going to get out of your wall outlet. So you're getting a full 120 watts or 120 volts out of those outlets. And here's the other thing that's nice about it is all your cables are right here. And I probably should have got those out ahead of time. That's the only complaint I got, is this compartment is a little small, but you get your aircraft connector to MC4s. This is your AC, which plugs in on the other side to charge it with. And then you have a adapter to charge it from your car. So you have 3 cables with it, and what's nice is they are all on board. The only thing, they're a little tight getting them in and out of there, but you don't have to worry about, you know, carrying another tote with a bunch of cables in it or a big power brick. So that's one nice thing about it too. So there's a quick rundown of the tech specs, and we'll get into some other things here. We're going to plug some stuff up into it. And oh, one thing that I forgot is you do get a light. And it's a 2-position light. It's either on or in SOS mode, and it's off. Now a lot of people make fun of these lights, and this one you wouldn't think is very convenient, but I'll tell you what, I was at my property the other day and it was dark, and I had a gas generator plugged up to it and it died, so I had to take the Montek. I had it up there, was doing some testing on it too, and this isn't light, it's 25 pounds, but I was able to turn this on and walk the property because it was pitch black up there, and it is very, very bright, and it did a very good job. So I'm not going to laugh about these little lights on here because that one came in real handy the other day. So that's a quick rundown again of all the ports, and we'll get into plugging some stuff up. Stay tuned. Okay, if you guys are familiar with the channel, this is something I do with all the power stations that I'm reviewing and showing to you, is we're just going to hook a bunch of stuff up to it. Now keep watching the video because you're going to see a lot of other things. We're going to do the breakfast test on it. We're going to blow up a projector, or excuse me, a screen with it for filming. We're going to hook it up to an RV. We're going to do a lot of different things. So but this is just in general to let you know what you can use this for just common items. We have 2 portable speakers here. We have our Sateki power station, and we're going to charge it. We're going to run a fan, and we're going to run a heat gun. Again, this is a 1000 watt inverter. So let's turn the unit on. The DC will come on automatically. You'll start hearing some things chirp. Let's unplug, or let's plug our Sateki in, because it'll take 60 watts charging there. It's starting to flash. There we go. So it's taking a charge, it's charging. So the DC items are on. Let's see what we're getting. We're pulling about 41 watts, 46 watts. It's a drop in the bucket for this big power station. So let's turn our AC on. This is an item that in emergency situations is something, especially in the summertime, that you just cannot do without. Find a fan that pulls low watts, and these little Vornado fans do a great job. And we're going to just turn it on high. And 64 watts. And now we're pulling 85 on the DC, because the Sateki this is a 100 watt power delivery port, and this will charge at 60 watts. So now we're getting up there on the DC at 84 watts, 64 AC. Let's turn our heat gun on, and we'll see if we can't max this inverter out. So right now, 154 watts. Let's start cranking the heat up on it. Bear with me. Well, let me get the dial right. There, we're up to 526. Over 800. And now we're over. Okay. So now we got our heat going, a fan, and we're running over 1,032 watts. So this is a 1,000 watt inverter. And it is letting us go over a little bit. Let's just let it run there for a few seconds and see what happens. Looks like it's going to handle it. And what's nice about the Montek, look at the screen. I don't know if you can see that. We'll try to zoom in for you. See those watts on the AC are in yellow now because it's letting you know that it's over the limit because this is a 1,000 watt inverter. And it's handling it, plus the 84 watts that's coming out of the DC. So we're really pulling almost 1,100 watts out of this unit right now, and it's only rated for 1,000. So it does very well on that. It checks all the boxes. I'm going to show you the 80 watt panel that comes with the Montek, and have it hooked up outside right now, and I'm getting 69 watts from it. So it's an 80 watt panel, getting about 69 watts. Not too bad. We're missing out on about 11 watts total, but you're never going to get full output from a panel. Okay, right now I'm dual charging the Montek X1000, receiving about 471 watts. We are charging from the AC and the solar that I have on the roof. That's 400 watts of solar. So between the two, we're getting right now showing 481. So we're going to get this charged up, and I just wanted to show you the dual charge. We're at 87%, and you can charge this thing pretty fast when you set it up this way. Now I'm using the AC200P, and it's hooked to solar too, so technically we're charging this with 482 watts of solar. Alright, I want to show you the AC charging on it right now. We have it plugged into the outlet, and we're getting 196 watts in. We're at 60%. I'm going to go ahead and turn this AC off. I had it on previously, we don't need it. 195 watts. Now, okay, the other way that you can charge the Montek X1000 is through your car cigarette lighter port. We have it hooked up here, and I'm just going to use my AC200P. We've got the DC on, and got it plugged into there. We're pulling about 96 watts from the Blue Eddy, and if you can zoom in on the screen, we're at 94 watts. So you can charge this thing. It'll take a while, about 12 to probably 14 hours to charge it by cigarette lighter port, but if you're on a road trip and you're driving somewhere, you can charge it that way. If you got a long road trip, it'll work. I don't recommend charging these things through your car cigarette lighter port unless you're moving in a vehicle, because it just doesn't make sense otherwise. Now for me, I'll charge it like this all the time. That doesn't bother me because I can leave this in here hooked up, because this Blue Eddy is hooked to 800 watts of solar up on the roof, and I got another 400 watts that I plug into my DC charge enhancer. So I'm using solar whenever I plug it into my other power stations here. So I don't mind charging this way. I'm just saying the only real reason you would plug this into a car is if you're traveling somewhere to charge it. Alright, we're going to put the Montek through the breakfast test. We're going to make some coffee, toast a couple English muffins and make some hash browns, bacon, and eggs. Now this is a 1000-watt inverter, 2000-watt surge. Now we won't be able to run all three of these items simultaneously, so we'll have to make our coffee, then our toast, and then our eggs, bacon, and hash browns. So what I've done too is we are 100% charged. So if you're camping or in a power outage, we got 100% full charge, and then we're also hooked to a 200-watt solar panel. So we'll be able to put a little bit back of what we're taking out while we're making our breakfast. So I'll update you as we go along. Okay, we're going to start with our coffee. We got all three plugged to a power strip. We've got our AC on, as you can see on the front of the screen. So we're going to go ahead and turn our power strip on. Now this will power all three devices, but we're going to run them one at a time. Our coffee's ready. We got water and coffee in there. It's a 5-cup maker, and we're just going to hit brew now. And it's starting to go. And if you can see that, 673 watts. And again, we're 100% full. And our coffee pot is working. I can hear it heating up, and we'll check back in when it's done. Okay, if you can see that, our coffee's done. We're still pulling about 7 watts just for the little burner on the bottom of the hot plate. We're bringing in 115, as you can see. We use 6% of the battery to make that pot of coffee. And there it is done. Alright, now we're going to cook our bacon and hash browns. We're using our New Wave induction hot plate. We've had this thing for probably 5 or 6 years. We actually have 2 of them. We take them camping. And a lot of times we just use them in the home because they're so convenient. And the surface doesn't get real hot or anything. So we are going to go ahead and turn this on. We're going to start at 175. Okay. Hit the start button. And we're pulling 600 watts. Let's go ahead and turn our heat up to 230. Still running around 6. See, we're technically on medium heat. In there, we're running about 830 watts. Okay, we'll probably have to stay right in there. Now the thing with the induction hot plate, it will get up over 1,000 watts, which will overload the Montek because it's only a 1000-watt inverter. So when you're using induction hot plates and hot plates in general, you just want to know what wattage that the hot plate is. So it will work on the power station that you're using. So here we can still cook relatively fast at 275 degrees, pulling 820 plus watts. And we will show it to you again as it starts cooking, but that's what we're starting with, and we're going to get some eggs in there too. Alright, we just got done with our bacon, eggs, and hash browns. We're at 75%. And now we're going to use our Williams & Sonoma toaster. It is a 4-bin toaster. It's a total of 1800 watts. So this will not run both sides at one time, but we can run, you know, one side. So we are going to get it toasting. And you can see about 839 watts it's pulling. We're still getting 115 in. So we've used 25% of the battery right now. And let's see how much more we lose by making the toast. Alright, our toast just popped up. We're down to 71%, so it took about 4% of the battery to make that toast. And let's see what it looks like. And it's not toast, it's an English muffin, so we really cooked it longer than we normally would. But you can see it does have a nice little toast to it, very crisp. So it did that no problem. That pulled over 833 watts for about 4.5 minutes. And again, now we're back down to 0. And the good thing is we're getting 111 watts in. We can start charging this thing back up now because it's early in the day, and we should be able to recapture the power we lost by the solar panel. And there's our finished product, a complete breakfast. 4 pieces of bacon, 2 hash browns, 2 eggs, and an English muffin. And again, we used 29% of the battery to make the entire thing. And now we're trying to charge it back up. We're using our Blue Eddy 200 watt SP 200 portable solar panel. It's early in the morning. We're not getting the full amount that we could get. It's a little hazy out, but throughout the day that should pick back up. But there you go. Montek does pass the emergency breakfast test. You can use this for camping. You can use this in an emergency. And with a 1,000 watt inverter, you can run a lot of heavy duty appliances, a coffee pot, a toaster, an induction hot plate. Okay? And to touch on the coffee pot, this is a Mr. Coffee. It's a 650 watt coffee pot. I would recommend going and trying to find a coffee pot that is under 800 watts, under 1,000 watts, something that's in that 5 to 650 watt range for camping, for emergency use. So you can run these types of power stations, run that coffee pot on these types of power stations. Alright, we're going to see if this Montek X1000 will run the window unit, 5,000 BTU air conditioner. We got it plugged in. You can see the screen right there. 75% AC is on, so we're going to go ahead and turn the air on. It might take a few for the air conditioner to actually have the compressor kick on. We'll see if it can handle the surge. Right now we're pulling 70 watts. There, it kicked on. So it is handling it. You can see the air conditioner right there. And the compressor did kick on. And we're pulling 374 watts. And let's see. It's blowing cold air. So yes, the Montek X1000 can run a small window unit, and it's not having any trouble doing it. Now remember, this is a 1,000 watt inverter. What we'll try to do maybe is hook some solar panels to it and see if we can get some input in. So we'll stop the video and hook some solar panels to the Montek and see what we can pull in. Alright, we're running again now. We have some solar hooked up to it. I got 400 watts hooked up to it right now. We're pulling in 262. You can see we're putting out over 400 watts with the compressor kicked on. So this Montek X1000 is capable of 360 watts of solar. I could probably over panel a little bit more, but right now I just have 400 watts. If I probably did 3 series, 2 parallel, I could probably, get to that and max it out at 360. But as of right now, this is the best I can get at 263 watts, 264 with 429. But the point of showing you this is that if you have some solar coming in, it will slow down the decline. And obviously the air conditioner will not run 100% of the time, so maybe while the compressor's kicked off, you'll be able to gain some percentage and run the air conditioner a little bit longer. But just to make a point, this is not meant to run an air conditioner full time, but in an emergency situation, if you have a 5,000 BTU window unit air conditioner, you can cool off a room and run this thing sparingly if you need to. Now we're going behind the cloud and you can see the watts drifting or dipping way down. But the thing to take away from this is that unit will run a small air conditioner. Alright guys, I'm going to show you something with the Montek, but this is also going to be a little sneak peek. If you look around, this is a piece of property that we bought, and it has no electrical meter. It does have water over here, but it's not hooked up. And right now, at least for this year, we're not planning on hooking it up. So I want you to stay tuned to the channel because we're going to be showing you what we're going to do over here. Right now, we just moved our travel trailer over. But one of the things I want to do with the Montek is we have a pump and a creek down at the bottom of the property, which we're going to go walk down to. And we're going to see if this Montek will power this pump in order to get water pumped up here to the trailer that we can run through a Berkey that we can fill our water tank up with on our travel trailer. So let's take a walk down to the bottom and see if the Montek will run our pump. Let's take a walk. Alright, it's about 300 feet from the creek up to the trailer, and what we're planning on doing right now, first just check to see if the Montek will even run the pump, but we're going to run a hose for the time being just to fill our water tank up on our trailer. Alright, we got our pump. It's a Rule 1800 pump that we set on the top of a pool cover to keep water off. We also use it to put in our creek at home to fill up our pool every year. So it does do good, and our creek to our pool is about 100 feet. So the pump has plenty of power to push this, and we'll be going uphill a little bit. But we're going to see what the Montek can do, if it can handle it. So we got it plugged in. We're going to turn the AC on. Now what this pump will do is it'll sense water. It'll turn on, and there we go. It's coming out good. So we're pumping out very, very well. And guess what? Montek's waterproof. So we just spray it there a little bit just to let you know. But we're only pulling about 87 watts. And this is enough pressure to push water up to fill our tank. We will filter some of it for drinking, but you can also use it for your gray water for washing dishes, stuff like that. But this is what we're going to do for the rest of this year to get water up to our little travel trailer, is to just use this little pump. Alright, I'm going to shut it off. And there we go. And again, what I was saying about the pump is our creek's down a little bit. It's usually a lot higher than this. We've had, about a week or two without rain, but there's still enough flowing through here that we won't have an issue filling our tank up. And the good thing about the pump, like I was saying, is that if it doesn't sense any water, it'll turn itself on every 30 seconds to a minute, and let you and see if there's water, because what it's ideally for is to take water off the cover of a pool. But here, if the creek is low, it won't. You know, it'll check. If there's no water, then it'll turn itself back off. Once it senses the water pressure, it'll just keep flowing until that water is gone. So it's a nice little pump, and it'll suffice to get us water up on the property. Okay, another thing that I want to do with this Montek is I'm going to plug this travel trailer into it. Now I know this is only a 1,000 watt inverter, 2,000 watt surge. It's not going to run the air, it's not going to run the microwave in there, but it will run everything else. And if you were in an emergency situation, this Montek could power your lights, run your refrigerator in your RV. If you were boondocking somewhere, you can plug fans in because all the outlets will be live. And we're going to show you that right here. So it doesn't have a 30 amp plug, so you have to use a 30 amp to a 115 or 120 adapter. We're going to plug it into the side. Let's use this top one here. Our AC button's down here. We're going to hit it, turn it on, and there we go. We're pulling, was that 203 watts? So let's go inside and turn some stuff on. All right, I'm going to go in. I already got one light on. We can turn that one on. We can turn this one on. And if you come in, we're going to turn that on. Now, we're going to turn our refrigerator on. This is a Dometic. It will not run that microwave, but it will run this refrigerator. So if you had some items, you can run your refrigerator. So we have just about all the lights on in the place. It's got a stereo system with speakers. This is gas. Got a light hood here. I can't remember where the switch is. The fan, it will run it. We'll turn it on. And we'll turn that light on. Now we'll go over and see what the Montek's pulling. Alright, with all those items on, we're pulling 578 watts on the Montek. Now this wouldn't run it very long, a couple hours, but we wouldn't be running all this stuff at one time. We pretty much turned everything in the place on just to show you that it could run it. And if you hook 360 watts of solar to this thing, you'll be replacing some of that you're using, so that'll make it last a little bit longer. And again, I'm not advocating using this in this manner. I'm just letting you know it can do it. And there's proof right there. Alright, we purchased this land. It's a little over an acre. But what's nice about it is back up in the woods, it butts up to the national forest. So we don't have to worry about anybody building around us. So we're completely isolated here with the national forest that butts up to this property. And one of the other big advantages is that it already has septic. We have a water line if we choose to hook up to water. And the electric, it's a work in progress because there is no electric box here, but there used to be electric to the property. But we plan on hooking the electric up, but we also want to do a solar array where we can turn it completely off grid if we choose on the electric side. And I'm going to show you how you can run your portable refrigerator pretty much indefinitely with the Montek X1000. We're pulling about 33 watts right now, as you can see. We're 100% charged, but we are hooked to solar. So it's about 12 p.m. and we'll check back in on this thing, but we should not have any issues whatsoever running this long term because we have solar hooked up to it, and we're going to be pulling in more than the 30 some watts that we're drawing off the Montek X1000. So we'll keep you updated. We're running a portable 32 quart Pouch RV refrigerator, and if we wanted to, we could run this thing basically non-stop. Alright, around 4:20 in the morning. Started around noon yesterday, and we're at 90% running the Pouch RV. So there, it just kicked on. See what we end up with, about 45 watts. So we're at 89%. So in the morning when this solar kicks in, it'll charge it right back up to 100%. So you can see where you can run this Pouch RV refrigerator freezer 12 volt for indefinitely, pretty much, with the Montek X1000. Okay, one of the things we like to do is watch movies, either camping or in our backyard, and we got a screen here that's powered by this pump, and we're going to see if our Montek can handle it. So we got it plugged in. We're going to turn the AC on, which it's already on, and turn the switch on. Take it off. Pulling about 295 watts. Probably couldn't hear me over the noise. It's pulling 235 watts. Now with this screen, it's got to have power the whole time. Now we're at 64%. This would probably run a couple hours at this, but if you have this thing charged to 100%, you could definitely get a movie in, because it'll run probably 3 hours, maybe 4, keeping the pump going. So that's another way we like to use our power stations. These power stations aren't just about for emergencies, they're also about enjoyment. Right now we got our projector hooked up. We're going to watch a movie. We got our sound hooked up, and our Montek is pulling 46 watts. We could watch movies for days. Alright, let's wrap this video up. We're going to talk about what we like about it, what we don't like about it. And like I say, I was really excited about this Montek, because I've been eyeballing it for a year since it came out, and I don't have many complaints about it. The biggest complaint I have is the compartment that holds all the cables. It's a little small. It's hard to get the cables in and out of there, but really that's about it. It's a 1,000 watt inverter, 2,000 watt surge, 1,010 watt hour battery. For what it is designed to do, it's going to run most everything in your home. 90% of your appliances, okay, you're not going to run air fryers with it. That, anything that pulls over 1,000 watts and above a 2,000 watt surge, you're not going to be able to run on this item, and that's with any power station. You have to stay within the parameters of what that power station is capable of doing. This was 1,000 watts, 2,000 watt surge, and the battery size is it's a big battery for this small of a case. It has all the ports you need for charging. I don't have any problems with that. If I'm still nitpicking, the only thing, the screen is great as far as what the information that it shows you. It could be a little bit bigger. I would like to see that a little bit bigger. The solar panel that comes inside is only 80 watts, but to get a 80 watt solar panel in a case this small, I don't know what you expect. So for what it is, I have no complaints other than what I've mentioned. I like it and I recommend it. I'm going to use this thing. I've put it through all kinds of tests, as you've seen in this video. It's taken everything that I've thrown at it. You just want to watch your surge. It will run refrigerators. You just have to make sure that your surge isn't over 2,000 watts, because refrigerators, once that compressor kicks on, they only run around 90 watts. If you have an Energy Star rated refrigerator, you shouldn't have any problem running a refrigerator with this unit in an emergency. For 12-volt refrigerators, you know, this thing will run it non-stop if you hook the 80-watt solar panel to it, because it's going to give you probably 60 watts in good sun during the day. If you run your portable refrigerator on economy, that's only going to pull anywhere from 30 to 45 watts. So this can run a portable refrigerator non-stop. Now, when I showed you, I had 300 watts or 400 watts of solar hooked to it, and I ran this thing for 4 days on my Pouch RV 32 core refrigerator, and it never dipped below 89%, because it would drop down to 90, 89%, and the next day didn't take very much to get it back up to 100%, and it stayed that way until the sun went down. And again, those refrigerators, now it was you know, in my controlled environment, but it's in a room that runs at about 75 degrees all the time, because we have 2 freezers and a refrigerator in there. So it's the hottest room in the house, and it averages about 75 degrees in that room. So this Montek ran it with solar hooked to it non-stop for 4 days, and I could have left it hooked up, you know, indefinitely and not worried about it killing the Montek. So you tell me what you think about it. Montek has given me a discount code for this item, and I recommend this thing. I know well, let me tell you the other thing. I wish it was LiFePO, but you're not going to get LiFePO in this form factor. For what this thing's capable of doing, it would weigh a lot more than it does. It's not light as it is. This thing's a tank. It can be beat up and thrown around, but yeah, I prefer LiFePO. But the thing that I like about it is it's automotive grade cells, so you're still getting the life cycles of a LiFePO system in an NMC system, because they're using high quality automotive cells in this Montek. So as I was saying, they give me a discount code. It'll be down in the description of this video, so just follow the link, put in the discount code, and I believe it's $150 off. Now, you can get this several different ways. You can get it, well, 2 different ways I should say. You can get it by itself with no solar panel in it, or you can get it with a solar panel included, which is what I have here. So it has the 80-watt solar panel inside, and again, for practical purposes, it's, you know, obviously you would want higher watts going into this, but for what it is, this can, in an emergency situation, give you a way to generate power and charge this thing back up. Now, when you're in emergency situations anyway, you're not going to be willy-nilly with your power. You're going to be conserving. So this thing gives you a way to do that. But as you also seen, it can give you some entertainment. I mean, we watched a movie with it. We ran a projector with it. We blew up a big screen, 100-watt screen that we use that's portable, and this thing had no problem doing that. So you can also use it where you don't have power, for boondocking and for entertainment purposes, not only emergencies. But again, tell me what you think. In the description there will be a coupon code for this. I highly recommend it, and I'm just not telling you that because they sent it to me. If you know, you watch my van powers, I had some pluses and minuses with it. It was a good power station. I told you the good and bad with it, and I'm telling you, I just can't find a lot wrong with this other than it's not a LiFePO, and it's a little aggravating getting the cables in and out of this little hole. But other than that, it's a thumbs up. Tell me what you think. In the description, the discount code will be there. Like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. And I also have a PayPal link if you guys want to donate to the channel. Feel free. You know, that helps me to make these videos and get this information out to you. Because most of the power stations that I've tested on this, with the exception of 2, I've paid for out of my own pocket. So if you want to donate and you like what we're doing, we appreciate it and are thankful for it. But like, subscribe, and have a blessed day, and we'll see you in the next video.